Y'all know Lethal is coming out with a new collection, the Avatar Airbender collection, and y'all know I love Lethal, and I'm just like, I want to get it, but I don't. Okay, here's the situation. So when I watched the reveal video, the only one that really caught my eye was Earth because of the grungy greens and the mustards, right? But then I'm like, I have Bog Rich, I have the Natasha Denona Yucca palette. I have, other palettes I can do, grungy looks with. So I'm like, that would probably dupe something in my collection. And so I was just like, but I still want it because I love Lethal's formula. And so I was like, the one that I least was drawn to was Air because of the lighter tones in the palette, and Fire because of the reds and the oranges, and I'm looking at it like I can probably dupe that out too. But then when I saw the short that they did on YouTube, I wanted all four of them. I don't know what it was, but the way they did that short, I wanted all of them, and I'm just like, okay, wait. And so I'm glad that it's not coming out until the 31st of March. May 31st. Today is May 26th. And so I said, I'm gonna go through my Lethal collection, and we have a lot of single shadows, and so I'm thinking I can or could possibly dupe out some looks that I may get if I were to get the new Airbender collection, the palettes. I don't know how much they are, and of course I would have to consult my beauty budget. I do have $4.50 Lethal credit though from a thing from way back, but anyway, y'all like $4.50, girl, I know. And so I also went through my gallery, and I'm going to just pop up some pictures randomly with the palette that I think the look that I'm showing you can dupe. And so I did that for me to help me see, can I dupe a look or two if I were to get that new palette, duping it with something that I already have from Lethal. And so I'm hoping you're able to see clearly like the looks with what I did next to the Airbender palette, and to see like, can you dupe it? And even if you don't have that particular color story, those exact shades, can you dupe it for something you already have? And again, what gets me is Lethal's eyeshadow formula. I really enjoy it. I really do. And no, that's not what I'm wearing today. So I'm going to go through my Lethal palettes, and they're not in any particular order. These were from a mystery bag. This one I don't think dupes anything. This one is a duplicate shade that I have because I ordered 2 large mystery bags, and each bag had this shadow in it. So that's why that's in here. So this one is not duping anything. So that was really easy. So this palette, I never named them, but when I'm picking out shadows from different palettes, I'll just put like green leaf, burgundy leaf, because they don't have names. But this is what this palette looks like. And so I'm looking at these colors, and I'm seeing that Earth palette, even though it's not a lot of the brighter tones, the shimmery tones. As far as the greens and the mustards, like I have that. And even looking at the Fire palette, I have those reds. Well, not this one, but these, like I have those red orange tones. You know what I'm saying? And this shows up like a gray, like a silvery gray. So I'm like, is it necessary for me to get those? And I don't believe makeup is a necessity anyway. I don't believe it's a need. I think it's a desire, and that desire can be very strong, and that's why we keep buying stuff, even though I do know some people do say it's a need. And I do believe consumption does fill a void in our life, or something that we're missing, that when we purchase things, we're satisfied for a little while, and only a little while, because then we got to keep buying it and keep buying more and more stuff. But anyway, so I'm looking at this, like I see some of the Fire in here, I see some of the Earth in here, so I'm like, and then I was talking to a friend of mine, we were chatting, and I said, if I were to get them all, I would be doing a lot of dupe videos. Like, can we dupe this look? Can you tell which palette is this? Is this my BYOP, or is this, the Fire, Earth, Water, or Air palette? And this is the other one. So in this one, I don't see much. These two I see from the Earth palette, but that's kind of it. Maybe if we want to stretch, we can say air because of the blues, but I do believe these blues are a whole lot deeper. And this is actually, I see purple. This is what I see. That's what I see when I look over here, and where you are, this is a blue. So no, that's not going to dupe anything in those palettes. But as far as like this one, maybe I'm making sure that's not a dual chrome. This is a dual chrome too, so that's not going to count. No. So just maybe just this one and this one for air. Maybe. But definitely this one, I'm seeing some elements of air and some elements of fire. And I do remember putting together this BYOP. These are shadows. Some were from, I was reading my notes on the other side of this paper. Some are from Evergreen palette, and some are from Metamorphosis, because I didn't want the all green and I didn't want the all, reddish one. But these are what those shadows are from. So if you do have Evergreen or you do have Metamorphosis, you might be able to do Earth with your Evergreen and Fire with your Metamorphosis. Maybe. And they do look to be new shades. However, depending on what you put it next to, you might be able to get a very similar look. This one is Night Flower palette. And I don't think I'm seeing really anything in here. This is what I'm seeing, so that's not a dual chrome. I'm looking to see if anything is changing, and it's really not. So I'm not seeing any elements in here per se. No. But the other two. And I did spend almost an hour going through my gallery seeing if I had looks that I thought I could dupe with the new palettes, because I'm really trying to not get them. This is Velvet Dusk palette. Excuse me. Oh my goodness, that was loud and obnoxious. So maybe some earth. You have the green, you have mustard, you got this brown, you got this shade, you got this one up here, and you got that one. So, I mean, I definitely do have earth in other palettes. And then, as I said, with Bog Witch, and then with the Natasha Denona palette, I have it, you know what I mean? But the formula works for me. And so I'm just at a stretch, maybe these for air, but I don't remember if air has a brown in it. But I'll be popping up pictures over here as I'm holding up these palettes to see what you think. This one is another BYOP. And these are shadows from, some of these are Wildflower palette shades, because I didn't want them all. And some were from the mystery bag. Let me see if I can remember. These, between the last two columns, 6 of them are from the Wildflower palette, and the rest are from the mystery bag. So I'm not really seeing anything. I'm trying to get the glare off because this one is very reflective. So I'm not really seeing much. And again, we still have the blues, but I don't remember a blue being this deep, but maybe, because the swatches, they look really dark. But then I don't want to say they built up the shade, because sometimes you put a lethal shade on and it's just like pow, you know what I'm saying? And the shimmers and the dual chromes are just like bam. And so I know they're going to work. When it comes to the browns, I know I have the browns. And even this shade up here is in one of those palettes, I think, or something similar to it. So I'm really hoping when I watch this back and when I put in the pictures, I'm really going to see, okay, don't get it. But then part of me is like, you already know you want to buy some. And even if I didn't get Fire, it might make sense to get the bundle because of the price. All of these were from the Last Chance page. And it surprised me that it made a cohesive palette, because I only picked these shades because I didn't have them already. Seriously. And so for it to make a cohesive palette, I'm like, Troll did really good. So you have some air in here with the blues, you know, these tones right here. I don't think any palette had a deep purple. Don't quote me on that. This shows up as a pinky purple. This shows up as like a dark smoke gray. I forget what this shows up as. And this just shows up kind of like as a goldy purple. And so this one, not really. If you want to stretch, you can, you know, these two for the earth palette, but I'm not seeing too much. And so, but I am excited, which is probably not a good thing. I'm excited that if I do get them, to see if I could do similar looks with what I have, like one palette this side, BYOP over here. And the thing about palettes is it's nice having it in a palette versus if trying to dupe a look, you know, I'm going in and out of different palettes and pulling out shadows to use. This is another BYOP. What shadows are in here? Yeah, because label horn me here. I'm trying to see if it sparks a memory of where I got it from, where I got the shades from. And I did move some stuff around before. So this one definitely, you see some fire, and the shades are not the same, but just the elements, because you have the reds and the oranges, and then you have like the greeny tones, which can be your earth tones. You know, this little pocket right here and this one. But when I looked at this palette against the pictures of the new palettes that are coming out, it's like, no, because the tones are just different. But in my mind, I'm still like, would it look the same though? You know what I mean? And this is a dual chrome. So this looks yellow, and then it's like a green, this shade. And so that's another thing too. And even in the swatches they did, the lighter tones, a lot of them are shifty shades. Something did look like a look I did with Teresa is Lethal, and I was surprised. And so I'm going to pop that picture up here while I'm speaking about it. And this is Teresa is Lethal, and I was surprised. And so you see you have some blues in here, you have the tans, you have this bright ass silver, which is beautiful. And when I was going through my gallery, I'm like, yeah, you'll see, because I'll pop it up over here. But I was surprised because I'm thinking, I'm not going to dupe this. And Lethal Shadows do have a PAO of 24 months. And so eventually, like, these palettes are going to die. Eventually. This is another BYOP. And this is what this looks like. I don't think this dupes any of those. At a stretch, maybe this top row. And not even, because over here I'm seeing gold. So let me see. Yeah, this is what I see in person. But where you are, it looks red. So that's not duping anything. In this shade, I'm seeing this. So that's like a really burnt burgundy, orangey red. But then this way, it's green. So those aren't duping anything. This, what? Really? This is what I see in this one. But holding it up, y'all, Lethal just be catching me off guard. So when I'm looking at stuff, did we already do that shade? Yeah, because I said this is what I'm seeing. So when I'm looking over here, I'm like, okay, where are we in the palette when I'm looking where you are, because it looks so different. So I don't think this dupes anything. And then the pictures, I didn't always show like what palette it was. If it was a BYOP, I didn't show what palette it was, because they're just shades from, you know, just random shades. And this is Berlin 89 palette. This is a dual chrome, so you see it's green and then it's the red. Everything else in here is pretty straightforward. This is bright like Overdrive is, and like TV Dinner from Teresa's Lethal palette. Is that what that is? Yeah, Teresa, excuse me, is Lethal palette. So we have some elements of air. You have the blue, you have the gray, you have some elements of fire, not including this one, but these two shades right here. And that's it. And they do have a black in their palette. I don't... This one in here is called East and West. I also have a black from them called Transmutation. So I'm wondering if the black in whatever Airbender palette that is the same exact black. Because how many blacks can you have? You know what I'm saying? That would be a hell of a party. Invite all the homies. I'm tripping. So anyway, I'm really just trying to just get a grip. And I'm glad that they weren't available when they, like that day, like, oh, this is it, we're airing later on tonight. Because I might have really just gotten the Earth palette knowing I can dupe it. This one, I can definitely dupe the Earth look with the greens and the gold. I'm not sure anything else. Earth maybe, this one, this has a purple tint to it. And when I look over here, I see pink. This shade, I see pink here, but looking up here, it looks almost purple. But maybe fire, these, and this one, I don't think it had a purple in it, but definitely the earth with the slow down, Tron, get your thoughts together. I am so excited. But because this is a dual chrome, like I'm not sure. But definitely these tones for earth. This, and this. And so I'm really trying here, y'all. Like, thumbs up that I'm trying to really see, like, do I have something that'll end up being similar? But then you'll get it and it'll be like, okay, this is different. You know what I'm saying? And I saw something with this too, I think. Oh, this is messy. You see all the, what? Let me wipe this off with my microfiber cloth that's down here. What did that happen? Like, did I jar you or something? So this is the Midnight Serenade palette. I've been looking at the, what's it, Mellow Grove? But I know it's lighter than what I want. But then I'm thinking if I wanted a lighter look, I would know where to go. And I do think it would pair nice with this. But what's stopping me from getting that one is, it was a Mellow Grove. I don't know. What's stopping me from getting it is the reddish tone. So we have these two, which do look different on my lid. One is more pinky, one is more purple. This is more deep red. This is more like a burnt orange. But even so, there's similar tones in that other palette. So I'm like, how many of the reddish type pinky purple shadows do I want? And I don't want a lot because I have enough and I don't tend to gravitate towards those colors anyway. But looking at this, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what could possibly dupe it for. The newer palettes, we can stretch and say fire, but the ratio between the mattes and the metallics, shimmers, dual chrome, multi-chrome seem to be pretty good. And I think that's what will make those palettes unique, because it's ideal to only use one, maybe two dual chrome, multi-chromes on your lid. And then using your matte shade, you can switch up your look that way, or even switch up the combinations of the two dual chromes you put on the lid. And so I do really believe those palettes will be versatile, and I am learning. I've developed quite an appreciation for 9-pan palettes, and I don't know if it's just the formulas or like from Notoriously Morbid. I'm really liking them little 9-pan palettes, and even the one from Stellum that I recently purchased and received. It just depends on where you put your shadows and just doing something other than what you normally do. And so, but I'm looking at this thinking, can I dupe something? So let me know your thoughts, y'all. If one of the palettes that I showed you, you're thinking, yeah, some of the shadows can dupe for other stuff from the newer collection that's coming out, then just let me know that too. If you have, I don't know if this is extensive as far as my single BYOPs from Lethal, but I have pretty much like every shadow I would want. And so it's like, okay, why are you wanting to get more? Because their formula works for me. And so that's what gets me is if there's a formula that works for me, I'm more inclined to buy more from that brand, because there are so many brands I'm not able to use, you know what I mean? And so it's, you know, stick with what I want. And also, this is Night Flower, and this is Velvet Dusk. This is Velvet Dusk, and this came to my mind just now for a reason. This is Velvet Dusk. I'm so awkward. And this is Night Flower. I really like them both. I don't use this one that often. Even though it's very pretty, I do like the looks I did with it. I don't use it often. I don't gravitate to it as much as my other Lethal palettes because of the lighter tones. And even though it's very pretty. So that's something I tell myself too, like looking at the Airbender collection with the lighter tones in some of those palettes, air, water, I'm like, am I really gonna use those palettes? You know what I'm saying? And I know I would run through it like I do when I always first get a new palette, but then how often after that am I going to reach for it? How often is it going to call my name? And so as gorgeous as this is, and as beautiful as the looks are that I've done with it, as beautiful as these shades are, this just doesn't call me. This Velvet Dusk calls me before this one, because this one has deeper tones in it. And so it's really just personal preference. And so I'm glad that I did a double take on this just now, because and I might need to leave this out. I might need to leave it out, and then I'll be like, why is this sitting there? Then I'll open it and be like, it's the lighter tones. You know what I'm saying? Because like in half of a palette, and only using the half that I like, even though they are small palettes, they're only 9 pans. But this one, this is more me, the earthy tones. You know what I'm saying? The earthy tones, you know, the grunginess of it all, and the darker tones. So I'm going to keep out Night Flower, because that really just stopped me just now when I looked at it. Like, I don't gravitate to this. And it's the lighter tones. And even though it's a beautiful color story, if you're into purples and blues, if Night Flower is still available, then yes, go for it. But what it is for me is these right here. These right here and these two here, which do serve a purpose. And again, I do like the looks that I did with it. But I look at this and I'm just like, So maybe if it wasn't this top row, but then it looks monochromatic. But depending on what you do with it, you can do non-monochromatic looks. And so, yeah, so that's something I have to remind myself. And you notice with my BYOPs, like they're earthy, they're darker, except for the Last Chance one, because I was just picking shades I didn't have. And I really do enjoy this palette. I really do. So let me know your thoughts. Do you plan on picking up anything from the new collection? I'm struggling with them myself on what to do, and I forget how much they cost. And even though I don't gravitate towards this palette, it is an easy palette. If I want monochromatic, you know, do this row, do this row, do that row. And I have hopped around, but this one I don't gravitate to as often either, because of these right here. But these were in a mystery bag, so I did not purchase these individually. They came in the mystery bag. But I did find a use for them, and I do like them. I just, you know, give me this. And now that I'm going through this the second time in this video, I do have, excuse me for smacking, I do have a lot of the earthy tones and a lot of the fire, you know, the red and oranges. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really, I'm struggling, and these two rows right here, and these are just for pops. But like this is Transmutation, a matte black. So I have 2 of their matte blacks already. But it's nice to have in a palette because you can deepen up a look, use that shadow as a base. And also, not that it's that same brand, but I looked over at my MAC BYOP caught my eye. One of my MAC BYOPs caught my eye, because we have greens here. Granted, they're different than the other one, and then we have our earthy tones and a black. So I have similar shades. This palette, we have some more of the fiery tones. So it's like I have them. You know what I mean? So what I'll say to you is go through your collection. Did I show y'all this one? This is a hodgepodge, but we have earth right here. We got a grunge row, we got a fire row, we got our purples and reds here. So here's what I'll say to you is, if you are just looking at that and you're like, I want those, do what I did. If it's a particular brand, go through what you have from that brand. And I did spend almost an hour going through my gallery and my phone, going back between the pictures and the screenshots from the new palettes that are coming out. And I'm like, am I going to say I'm not getting them? I'm not saying either way, because I don't want to lie to myself or to you, but I can really say the struggle is real. And the struggle is real. That's all I'm going to say. But if they're calling you and deep down inside, you know you have similar colors, either within that brand or outside of that brand, just sit down and systematically go through it. If you keep phones in your gallery. If you keep galleries in your phones, go through your gallery and look at pictures, and then look at the pictures of the new palettes that are coming out, and see if you can possibly dupe those shades, those colors, and see if the look that you're looking at, screenshot, thanks, and see if what you're looking at you think you could possibly dupe with the newer thing. Because y'all, we have makeup, we have makeup, At the same time though, the struggle is still real. So I'm going to leave that there, and I'm looking at my other stuff too, and even some of my Natasha quints, they have that grunginess, that earthy tone stuff, and so I really, it's just a want. And so let me know what you think of this video. Let me know if I gave you something to think about as far as, yeah, I really do have similar tones, and really taking the time to go through what you have to see you really do have those tones. And I really do have those tones. The least amount I might have is air. But then do I gravitate to those? No. But when I use them, do I love the look? Yes. So I'm like, this could almost be an air look. You know what I'm saying? But so I'm gonna go, because I feel like I'm just going to start repeating myself more and more. And always a lot of information down below. Thank you for being here. Again, please let me know your thoughts. Are you interested in those palettes? Are you interested in anything else from that collection? Are you struggling the way I'm struggling on to buy it, to not buy it? I know I have similar. I know I can probably dupe it, but I still want it. Do you share in that struggle with me? If so, we will figure this out together. So just let me know your thoughts on the collection, if you think you're going to get it, if you know you have possible dupes, which we know because we just went through some, and you saw some pictures of stuff. And that'll be it for this video. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you being here to help me just say all of this out loud, because sometimes you can think a thing, but then when you hear yourself say it, it like really hits your heart. You know what I'm saying? And so thank you for being here, being a sounding board for me. And I do look forward to your comments, because they help me as well. And it gives me additional things to think about. And also, we still are on the journey of being a conscientious consumer in 2024. So this is all a part of that, just trying to figure it out and what we're going to do. So thank you for being here. If you made it this far and you're not subscribed, if you've made it this far and you're not subscribed, I can't speak. Subscribe if you've been here before and you haven't done so already. Thumbs up the video, comment, share, like, all of that stuff. Thanks is available if you want to do that, and also membership information is down below. So we're going to go. Thank you for being here, and you will see me in the next video.